No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. Romans 8:37. On June 10th, someone who had a greater influence on my life than almost anyone else in the 1980s went home to be with the Lord. The man I'm talking about is Leigh Nelson. He and his wife Mary took Cathy and me under their wings and served as a third set of parents during our early parenting years. I wish I had time to tell you all about Leigh, but since I don't, let me share with you a few things that I appreciate about him that perhaps the Lord could do a refresher on in our lives. Leigh didn't let his limitations limit what was possible. He grew up in a little town called Welch, Minnesota, and attended a one-room schoolhouse. He didn't come from nobility, wealth, or aristocracy, but from humble beginnings. He graduated from the University of Minnesota with a degree in chemical engineering, worked for 3M for about 40 years, and during the 1960s, he and his brother opened up a ski area in his hometown, which they named Welch Village. As the ski area grew into a successful venture, and as Leigh was afforded the opportunity to travel the world because of his financial situation, he loved to say, "Not bad for a farm kid from Welch." One of the qualities that marked his life was his propensity to invest in people. He loved to meet new people, hear their story, and share his own story, which always wove into it how God had been at work in his life. When he met a new person, he assumed that the person would be a friend and looked for ways to invest in them in one way or another. You always felt better about yourself and life after you had been with Leigh for a while. Also, he was always driven by faith and not fear. If you're going to start a ski business from scratch, it takes a lot of faith. Leigh and his brother had enough faith to launch Welch Village. With a lot of hard work from every member of his family and a lot of prayer, Welch Village continues to be a successful ski area to this day. Also, Leigh was always open to learning. He would read, ask questions, and throughout his travels, learning was a high priority. He never tired of studying the Bible. There was a class that he led at Our Savior's Evangelical Lutheran Church in Hastings, Minnesota, which was called the Overcomers. Together, the participants would slowly make their way through the Bible, discussing what they read and looking for ways that God might reshape them to conform to His Word. Also, Leigh loved his wife well. In fact, Leigh had the opportunity to love two wives. His first wife, Mary, died of cancer in 1991 at about age 60, and in 1995, he remarried and enjoyed a wonderful marriage over the next 28 years with his second wife, Diane. He was attentive to their needs and laid down his life for them as Christ laid down his life for the church. May the Lord be at work in our lives as He was in Leigh's, and may we be more than conquerors through Him who loved us so. Press on in the Lord.